All right, start us off, Brandon.
What episode is this? 34?
37.
No, 37.
I'm way behind. All right. Dirty Sliders Podcast Nation. Welcome to another episode. 37, I think it is. We both had a pretty long weekend. Well, I was behind the mic. Neil was behind the grill. Soper was behind the steering wheel. Bridger was hanging out. I'm sure Raz was busy.
behind.
Raz was in the heat of Kentucky. We got a couple of guys here with us. Bridger.
Hey, we got Dirty Sliders sponsor junior sprint driver here at Barona Speedway, Olly Schenk here, and we got his dad there. So, Ollie, how did you get into racing? What got you into racing?
One day my dad asked me, "Do you want to do this?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then we bought a car. And then that's how I got into this.
What'd you start out in?
Not very detailed, though.
Yeah. So what? That's okay. You're doing fine. Don't listen to the rest of these guys.
Okay. Thanks. Good night. We'll see you all next week.
Good job.
All right.
But before you
So
get
boys,
off,
I guess that's it.
What I was gonna say, what made you choose a sprint car? Was it just what was available at the time? Did it look interesting to you for some reason? Moving up in the world, is that your ultimate goal? Is go sprint car racing?
Yeah. There's nothing else to pick. Like, I could have picked a newer version. I went for the one that was cheapest.
Oh well, yeah, I can understand that being a dad. Sometimes the cheapest way is the best way to get you started. But so a little bit about just from I've known Ollie for the last few years, 2-3 years I've known Ollie, and I've watched him come up racing, and he's made a lot of improvement. He hasn't gotten that all hard to get win yet, but he's made a ton of improvement. Yeah, you're 13 now, Ollie?
Yeah, I'm 13.
You're 13, so next year, if you want to, you can move up into a bigger car. We can put you into pure stock out there with Brandon and I if you wanted. But like I said, do you want to go into a dwarf, stick with the sprint, just get bigger and scarier? What do you think you want to do?
I'm thinking I'm going to go into
Pure,
Good. Going to the Sugar Shane Sexton Stunt School of Sprint Car Driving.
See if you can launch over the fence.
You were to go on a roller coaster
Yeah.
for $45 every other week, and it cost your dad a couple of $100 out of his pocket.
A couple $100, that's for one right rear tire on those things. No, I'm pretty sure Mom would be more happy with you going to a pure stock than the open wheel class with the sprint cars. But yeah, that'd be cool. And like I say, I've seen you improve a ton. I know Brandon and Thomas and your dad are there every week, watching you and helping. So what's everybody else got for Ollie? What do we got?
Well, this is the second time around for me sponsoring Ollie because 2 or 3 years ago, I sponsored him for tires through Ron's Tire and Brake, and now we decided to sponsor him through our Dirty Sliders podcast. The first time around, all he got was tires. This time around, he got cash. Yeah, I've seen a ton of improvement, and obviously I haven't been there, last year or this year. But Ollie came in very timid. Don't want to say he was afraid of the race car, but it seemed like it was ahead of his curve a little bit. But he kept sticking with it. He took great advice from everybody who was given to him. He always seemed like he would listen to me when I had information for him. Like I said, haven't been around to see him lately, but it sounds like he's making great strides.
Yeah, I Maine this week on Friday night because they raced both nights of the 2-day show we just had here at Barona, and he's definitely grown into it. He's gotten out of that timid, and he wants to get in there and mix it up. And he's starting to get to the point that my crew chief JT tells me I always drive better angry. So I think he's getting a little bit to that point of, hey, I'm not putting up with anybody's stuff anymore. I'm going to go and take it when it's there to take it.
I mean, for me, obviously, Paul and I have been friends for a good handful of years. Ollie's became, the little brother that I didn't have because I have two sisters. So Ollie's been the little brother. Just talking race shop, actually, has gone a long way because we just kind of talk about spitball, how driving into the corner, a little bit harder, follow your marks. And he's picked it up. And then now when he's getting out of the race car, he's got, I missed my mark. Now he's starting to get a little better understanding of car control, what we're doing on the racetrack. And I mean, he's got a heat race win this year. He's actually had a pretty dang good run here this last week. The leader made a mistake, but he was running in second. He had to drive back up through there for a top 5. So that was Awesome work, Ollie. Obviously, it's great to be in your pit area every single weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till we get out there and he gets to be on the front stretch with everybody in their bottles of sparkling cider.
It's coming.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good night.
So I guess a little background is order for those that aren't familiar with the Barona program. At the intermission for the big cars, they race kids, the youth drivers. And it's mini dwarfs, a couple different classes. There's sportsman, mini dwarf,
And Masters.
Masters, yeah.
And junior sprints.
And then
Junior
the
sprint.
sprint.
Now do they divide the junior sprints into different classes or
No.
just the one?
No,
So
just
he's raced against big boys from the beginning because don't kid yourself. These kids are out there doing some real racing. So that's what we're talking about. Like I said, they run their heats first thing as we get there, and then they run their mains during the intermission. And it gets a little hot and heated out there.
they definitely get the cowboy up on that deal. Some of them are letting them hang out, as they like to say, like Soper's back at Soper's race car. Let them hang. Them
Yeah.
kids let them hang, boys.
Well, heck, just Friday night we had 2 go over through the hay bales, and
We
I
had-
think that was mini dwarfs, but they definitely are not afraid to dash the gas.
I know you've got a question for Ollie. I know you've been holding it in down there. What you got?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if you remember, bud. You should. It was a couple of years back before the race season started. We're all sitting down there in Barona. They got the dirt track go-karts out there racing, and they let you kids bring your cars out. First off, I want to say thank you because you let Landon get in it and Landon drive it. Landon decided it wasn't for him, but you let him do it, and that was pretty cool. But in that deal, I think you came off a 4 and your throttle hung, and you went clear out of the kids' track, across the front stretch, and just kissed the crap out of that front stretch wall. How'd that feel?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No kidding. No surprise.
Did you have
Yeah.
to take some time to get over that feeling, Ollie? Tony Stewart, which I'm sure you've heard of, says, "Show me what a driver's like after he busts his ass," and that I think was your bust his ass moment. So that's always a good sign to see somebody do that and then come back and become a real racer again.
He had one like that when he first started mini dwarfs. His first race, he got rolled. He rolled 3 times in his first race. He
So
wanted
maybe
to
he
quit
did follow Shane Sexton's school of
So
driving.
anyway, it was spectacular. It was fine. That was the other thing. He wasn't so sure he was going to get in, but we made sure he got back in. So, there you go.
Paul, while you're talking, how did you come about the Barona Speedway? How'd you get Ollie into racing? Were you into racing before this, or how did this come about?
Yeah, I grew up in northern Wisconsin racing snowmobiles with my dad. And then once you're 12, you can get a license to do that. And then I started being the driver because I was a lot lighter than him, so we could go faster. So I did that. I left for the Navy at 18, and after that, he kind of fell out of it. But then I was always had a hair in me that I wanted to get involved again somehow. And been in this area for a little while and knew what was going on, but I didn't know anybody. So one day we decided to go over there and just walk around and see what was up. So went over, talked to some folks, and decided that, hey, yeah, I think I'd like you to try to do this. And he's okay, I'll try to do it. And it kind of went from there.
Yeah, my dad's originally from northern Wisconsin, from Colby,
Colby,
which is by Minocqua.
the good fishing and that.
And it's funny because we went back there one summer, and everybody has that story about I walked 3 miles to school through the snow, and so we get to the house he grew up in, and we headed to his school. And guess how far it was? 3 miles. Damn it!
Well,
Oh,
and
shit.
I think that story kind of blends into, at least for me, how I got into racing here at Barona is, I just happened to find it one day and go up and say, hey, this looks like fun. And I think, I know Isabella brought his dwarf car. John Isabella brought his dwarf in the stands at intermission. And I went down there and I talked to him and I looked at it. I'm like, this looks like freaking cool. And John Isabella is an awesome guy. Cody Isabella, his son, is kicking butt at he's masters right now, mini dwarf. So next generation. And it just got me into like, hey, this looks like something fun to do. It's 45 minutes from my house. It's grassroots. This is what racing's all about on the grassroots level.
Yeah, and then you posted on Facebook that, hey, can anybody help me out with this dwarf car?
Yeah, and look where that.
Yeah,
That brought you down the old rabbit hole of the darkness.
Yeah,
No,
then I met even cooler guys like Raz and Phil and Brandon and Neilden. He was around all the way back then, and then we suckered Thomas into the.
Sure did.
So- Paul, no aspirations for you to get behind the wheel?
Yeah, I give you that eventually. So yeah, jump in, grab a chair.
Actually, Paul,
We're just skipping it here.
I think somebody that's on this call, you jumped in their race car one time at Barona Speedway, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Briefly.
How did that go for you?
She gets a little squirrely when you don't know how it's supposed to feel under your butt, but it was fun. So anyway, getting to that, it's like, yeah, I get to some sort of stability for Ollie here, and then I'm into something next and then see where the funds are. I mean, that would be cool to do, Raz. And I think it'd take me a minute to get up to the skill level that bunch of you fellas are at or have or what have you. But to get that kinetic sense. But yeah, I'd do it.
Then you'd have to adjust to getting your ass kicked by your son.
But hey, you know what? I would be happier than hell.
Well, we could probably set up a grudge match here. We got a couple of pure stocks and we got a couple of drivers.
There we go. Little dirty slider intermission.
Sounds like a Friday night practice.
That's what I was going to say.
We'd probably dial up Trish and Todd Salazar and see if we can't get a little track time there to get a grudge match going. Ollie, which car are you picking, the 32 or the 77? That's the question.
I'll pick 32.
Thank you.
Nice. Wounded him to his core.
That's because he's just worried the 77 fall apart while he's out there.
Well, guess what, Ollie?
Not structurally, just
good luck reaching the pedals. Your dad might be gone on you on that deal because he can at least reach the pedal of my car.
Because yes, JT cannot make my car stop unless he's
I don't know. It's pretty stretched out for me, but I can touch him enough.
That's what wood blocks and duct tape are for.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm for oceans.
Ollie, what's the best part about driving a mini sprint, and what's the worst?
The best part is just racing against other people, like seeing my friends, like being able to go to races, seeing my friends, and then race against them. And then the worst part, crashing. And then you just pull up.
Is the suspension in those things any better than your mini dwarf?
It's way better.
You guys look like bobbleheads in those mini dwarfs, buddy. They got just springs in the front, nothing, solid axle in the rear, nothing.
I know. It's jumbling the little kids' brains as they're going.
Oh, I know it.
Questions delivered while you wait.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
I got to check with Thomas on this next thing. Are we ready to announce the thing that we're doing for the youth racers?
I got blown off, buddy.
Did you? Okay, then that means we're not ready.
Stay tuned.
We'll talk about that later.
Stay tuned for more amazing things.
We are working on something behind the scenes.
So, Ollie, on race days, do you have a particular thing that you have to do on a race day, or do you just kind of go with the flow? You know, some people have to wear this certain hat, or I got to wear this certain shirt, or stop at this certain gas station. Do you have any superstitions on race day?
I just go with the flow.
What about the glass bottle Dr. Pepper? You got to have a glass bottle Dr. Pepper on race day?
That's the one.
It's okay.
I had a race day ritual that I did before a race. I ate a banana.
The long way?
No. Well, the reason I ate a banana was because I'd get really nervous every race day, and bananas taste the same coming up as they do going down.
That is true.
That's the deal. As we're on rituals, but once I was going to touch on that subject there, Ollie, do you get butterflies before you get in your race car?
No, not at all.
It ain't scared you yet.
No.
He's better than I am.
I still get nervous sitting there for the main, and you got to talk yourself down.
Every time I get in a race car, I got a little, butterflies, bubble guts going. Soper, do you have any race day?
Yep, I got a couple.
And you can
when
talk
I get on Wildcat, when I get on Wildcat and I drive up past the Barona Casino and gas station, I have to turn on a song called Daddy's Cup by Drive-By Truckers. It's a song that just kind of brings me back to the days when my dad was racing and I was a kid watching him. And then when I get to the track, I have a necklace that I wear. It's basically like stainless steel pendant on a necklace of a 357 bullet that has my dad's ashes in it. And I wear that every time I race. And Dad gets to go make one more lap with me. And that's why I got into racing. That's why I'm here. And that's why I keep doing it. So I keep him around with me as much as I can.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Neil, didn't you used to race? Did you have any rituals?
Yeah, to take all the superstitions and use every one of them. I was the one, I was like, if you guys are scared of superstitions, we'll have all the voodoo for you.
Yeah.
We'll put a boiled peanut on the hood, we'll paint the chassis green, run the number 13. I didn't do that one, but yeah.
What about $50 bills?
Hocus pocus.
What about?
Oh, I don't care. I'm a capitalist. I need money.
Yeah.
What do you know about $50 bills, Raz?
What's that?
I believe $50 bills are bad luck.
If you got any in your pocket, I'll take them.
I'll hold
No,
it for you.
I just changed them into hundreds.
Yeah, exactly.
It was good enough for Dale Earnhardt Sr. It's good enough for me.
That's a valid point.
He wouldn't touch a $50 bill either. If you tried to give him one, he would say, "What are you trying to do to me?"
Yeah, I've never had any of them have any fruition to me, or I had a bad night every time because of X, Y, or Z. No, I just like trying to put the voodoo on everybody else.
I was a race car driver and a baseball player. I had superstitions coming out my ears.
And a few other places.
What about Phil? Since Phil's not here with us, I know he's got a little something he normally does on old race day.
He had some.
Do we have enough time left in the show?
What's the main one, Neilton? Since you were always at his window most of the time.
Well, there's a ton.
I'm not sure about Maine.
What people didn't know, maybe or did not know about Phil is he's very claustrophobic. So you put him in a race car and he's freaking out. He doesn't want anybody to know that, but he's literally freaking out. So what would happen was either Neilton or myself would stand by his window. So basically no one could come talk to him.
Yeah.
We would just basically kind of block that out. He had to hear, before every race, had to hear the Warrior song.
That's what I was looking for, the Warrior song.
Yeah, which is a really cool song. We can't play it because we'll get a copyright strike, but go look on YouTube for the Warrior song by Hardcore, Corps. It's a pretty badass song. We know Phil will never talk about it, but I guess we can since he's not here. We'll just put him all out at Front Street. Phil,
beep, beep.
Yeah, Phil was a combat corpsman assigned to a Marine unit and served in Afghanistan. I'm not sure he served in Iraq, but I know he did serve in Afghanistan and saw some pretty heavy-duty action and lost some people. But I have a huge respect for medics and corpsmen because they're in there. Not only are they being badass warriors, but they're taking care of other warriors. And that's kind of Phil in a nutshell. If he was around us, he was taking care of us. That's kind of his personality. And his wife, Heather, also served as a corpsman.
And he always ran a tribute on the back of his race cars for warriors.
That tribute, I know one year it was to his uncle Bud, who was a Marine that he'd lost. And he also used to run a memorial panel to several Marines that he lost that he was close with in Afghanistan. Sad, I don't know their names or anything. I'm sure he could probably rattle them right off. Phil's a complex man. He doesn't talk about this stuff, and I kind of like talking him up because he's a man. Yeah, he's a man of honor, a man of integrity, and he's a warrior. He really is, through and through.
He's one badass dude. If you ever get to know the guy, he's a badass dude, and everybody in this group can say the same thing.
But anyway, enough about that. Ollie, tell us all your sponsors that help you get on track.
Who is it? Just my dad, probably.
Just your dad, really?
Where are you at today, buddy?
Thanks, Ollie.
What a guy. I bet you if you had a light on back there, your face is red.
Yeah, and don't discount your dad. He's doing a lot of stuff that you don't even know about that gets you on the racetrack.
Right.
So, Paul, what can people do to help you guys out if they want to help you out?
I don't know. You guys were very helpful and generous, I thought. And anything like that to create, I could use the tire sponsor in town would be great again. Right? We don't use a lot of them, but when we need them, we need them. It's just to mount and rotate, we're out and that kind of thing. Knowing I can slip in somewhere, get them done real quick, look after, and that's for that happening.
You can bring them by my shop anytime. I'll help you out.
A long drive to Kentucky to turn those tires.
5-hour round trip.
Yeah, it's only 26 hours one way.
Well,
it's more than that.
3 minutes.
26 hours to Iowa. It's got to be about 30 hours over to Kentucky.
I think I made it in 26 or 27. I'd have to look it back up.
Oh,
I can tell you this: 3 round trips, not round trips. San Diego to Kentucky, Kentucky back to San Diego back to Kentucky was 6,750 miles, and I did it in 10 days.
Sleep much?
No. I lived on White Monsters and Nerds gummy clusters.
That's healthy.
Hey, Nerds gummy clusters are good now.
The thing with the Nerds gummy cluster is it gives you sugar, and then it's sour enough where it like wakes you up. Yeah. If you go into any truck stop, you will see truckers grabbing those.
Good tip to know right there. Soper.
Yep.
How did your racing go? You did 2 nights of racing. Nobody else got any racing in besides Ollie.
Yep, I won Ollie $10, and then I lost him $10. So there's that part. So he broke
how'd you
even.
do that?
He broke even. It was Saturday. Friday, so it was pill drop, right? Special event, pill drop, not running off points. Friday night, Go up there. It's 1 out of 200 for chips. I drew the 199.
Doesn't get
Put
much
me,
worse than that.
no, it doesn't.
Starting
So
dead
that,
ass last.
yeah. So that put me tagging a heat. Started 9th in my heat race, take top 5 to the transfer. And we did that. We hit the transfer, finished 5th in our heat race. Went up there for the redraw, redrew 8. And Steven was right in front of me, or I don't remember, but I ended up finishing 3rd. It was Steven and then Dave Capella and then myself. So 3 hometown boys taking 1, 2, 3 on the first night. Second night, I took who we take up there. There's a bunch of us up there, but little Lacey was up there with us, and she drew a 7 for her class. And so I said, "Hey, little girl, come over here and draw my chip." She drew a 13 for me. So that put us starting on the pole on the second night for the heat race. So heat race went 1-1. And then super cool thing I want to give a shout out to Barona for. I thought this is the first time I'd done this, and it was freaking awesome. They brought all the guys that transferred in the stock cars, the modifies, and the sport mods to the front stretch, and we drew Frisbees off a table, then autographed them and tossed them out into the crowd. So I brought Waylon. Yep. I brought Waylon with me up there, and Waylon drew us to number 4. So I will not be drawing chips no more for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you got
Right.
fired.
So started 4th, running 3rd. It was a single lane lockdown bottom track. And every
You guys were
restart,
battling it out though. Don't cut yourself short. You and Ryan Trim had a pretty good battle there the first handful of laps.
yeah, for second place. Yeah. David started on the pole. It was, yeah. But every restart, man, I just kept getting stuck on the outside. Ended up falling back to 5th. Dialed some brake into the car under a caution, and then took the green flag, came back around the front stretch, went into turn 1, and I dumped it right in front of everybody.
Oh,
So that put me in the back. Well, when I dumped it, I pulled it into the hot pits real quick. Not really, I'm going to the back anyway, so I pulled into the hot pits. Steven's dad's looking at the car, and I looked down at the brake bias adjuster, and buddy, I dialed 2 rounds of brake into the rear on that car, and then went into the corner and stood on them.
Well, that
That's how you turn your head around really fast.
it'll tilt the world. 2 tickets to
yeah.
tilt the world.
Yeah, I busted that pretty bad. The car's not hurt. It drove on the trailer in one piece, and buddy, let me tell you, between Friday and Saturday, there were a hell of a lot of cars that did not make it.
Howdy.
I'm happy about that. That's one of those mistakes that it's the first time I've made it. I understand that these things happen and you live and you learn from them. I'm pretty bummed out about it because I feel like by this point I should be smarter than that and should know better. But this is my first full season in the car. I only ran a handful of races last year, so I don't know. It is what it is. But the fact that we're running up front with these guys off of as many races as I've got in the car, I feel pretty good and confident.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good being on the microphone. I obviously called your name a lot because you were in a lot of side-by-side battles. And the sport mod division is no joke. You guys are getting after it week after week. I mean,
Yep.
So you're doing a damn good job for as little bit of time you got in the seat.
Thank you.
I want to take it back to Ollie a little bit. Ollie, in a perfect world, say you're the next Kyle Larson. What do you want to do? Do you want to be a race car driver? Is that the goal, or is this just something you're doing for fun, or what?
I warned you.
Okay, so let's say you're good enough to make it to the big time. Which big time are you making it to? Are you going to become a World Outlaw sprint car driver? Is it going to be a NASCAR? Is it going to be IndyCar? What's the dream?
I don't know. Don't ask me what it should be. What are you thinking right now? I mean, you can always change your mind. He's just asking.
IndyCar. I would like to IndyCar. My dad always told me, like, learn how to drive on dirt, and it's like way better to drive on asphalt. Like, you already know how to perfectly drive.
There's truth to that. The driving on dirt will give you a lot more car control, in my opinion. I think we all probably share that same opinion. A dirt track driver is a better asphalt driver because of what he learned on dirt. So you're not wrong there. You might want to be working on some jazzercise or something if you want to get in an IndyCar. You're gonna have to slim down.
Hey, he's in his growth spurt. Give him a break.
He is getting pretty tall now over there.
He is.
Hey, Ollie.
Yeah, but they're all little skinny guys like Santino.
Yeah, like
Ferrucci,
that.
Yeah,
Like jockeys.
exactly.
So, Ollie, by the time you're a senior in high school, what class of car do you want to be in? You want to run a Dorf car?
That's
Or
cool.
you want to pack a lunch? Those things.
We'll send you some videos that might change your mind.
What draws your attention to the door?
They're wicked.
Yeah, I've driven a lot of cars, and I'll tell you the dwarf car was the hardest car to drive for me. They're super duper responsive. If you turn, if you think about turning, they turn. If you think about braking, they brake. For the weight of car that they are, I mean, with driver, those cars are weighing between 12 and 1,300 pounds, and got some pretty good sized tires on them, so they will get quite a bit of traction for what they are, and the sport bike horsepower is no joke.
So dwarf cars, what you ultimately want to get into at Barona? That's your ultimate goal at Barona, to get into a dwarf car?
Yes, right now.
I mean, you have to buy
Start
high
saving
school.
your pennies.
Guys
Right.
in here that know a thing or two about dwarf cars, they could probably help you out when you get to that
Well,
point.
as I was asking
Yeah,
about, how you could start mowing lawns if you guys got any lawns to mow.
I got a big lawn he can mow. Shit. There ain't no
got some
money in
dirt.
there, but there's a lot.
I wouldn't call what you have a lawn, Brandon. It's a hillside with vegetation.
Yeah, you wouldn't be mowing a lawn, you'd be mowing a fire break.
That's right. It's different.
Yeah, and I'm glad that if you want to get into dwarf cars, you're racing, what you are now, the junior sprints, and you've done the mini dwarfs, because I decided just to start straight off in dwarf cars, and that was a bad decision.
That was a bold decision, Kyle.
John,
Well,
this podcast is full of bad decisions.
Clearly, we do. We smoke, we drink, we carry on.
So I'll put it out there to the viewers, all 10 of them. If you do want to help Ollie out with his racing operation, every little bit helps. I mean, $20 here, $40 there, $100 there. If you don't know Paul at the track or Ollie, you can reach out to any one of our local racers here at the track, or just message us here on the comments, and we will put you in touch with Paul and so you can help out if you'd like. But it's a cool thing. It makes it different watching somebody race when you have your name on the side or your business on the side.
And one more thing there. This young man, Ollie, is an incredible man. He came up to me a few times throughout the last couple of seasons asking me about, hey, what should I do? What do you see and how should I change? How do you drive? This past weekend, he came up to me and he wanted my opinion on what his next step should be for cars. That just goes to show you that he is truly, genuinely invested and interested in his future in racing and what he wants to do. I think he has his mindset and what he wants. And I think that's the best thing. You can't go in undecided. You have to be knowing for sure what you want. And this young man does. He would be a great face to your brand and your business.
Yep, I agree.
Well, now we know he's full of bad decisions. He has you for advice. Mr. Right.
Now we know
you're
why
the
he
one-
stepped out in the maze.
Clearly asked him that before Saturday's made.
Yeah, just don't take his advice on adjusting your brake bias.
Yes.
Right.
Now,
Yep.
Which way is to the rear? Which way is to the rear?
Right
now?
to the rear, left to the front.
There
Um,
you go.
Labeled
There you
that
go.
now.
We're going to drill it into you. It is labeled. He just can't see it.
And we will consider sponsoring Ollie again next season, but I will tell you, Ollie, the first question we're going to ask your dad before we step up for sponsorship again is, how are his grades? That's going to be important. There you go. There's your goal.
But it's
Ollie,
a good thing.
how are your grades at the end of this
How are
year?
your-
Yes, sir.
Good.
I know they're good.
How are they? How are your grades? How many A's, B's, and C's do we have?
You don't know. There's so many to count.
What's your grade point average, Holly?
Just say.
Not great. Not very good.
Say the number.
Is it,
I don't
is
remember
it
what
less than 3?
We got him on the spot.
2.9 or something.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
had to this year, but
Those are rookie numbers. We're going to have to work on them numbers, son.
Mom's yelling it back here. So I don't know.
Mom
Yeah,
knows
like,
best.
Mom
right?
knows exactly what.
Mom always has the answers to everything.
That's okay. I don't think
Ollie,
either
do
any
you
of
have
us
any
got
questions for
straight
us?
A's.
No questions, bro. You gotta have something. I know you're
I'm
itching to
just
ask
shy.
something. Don't be shy. You're all right.
He sees us
Brandon,
every
but here's-
weekend almost.
In this pre-race things, what his pre-race ritual is.
Oh, Brandon, what was your pre-race ritual? Just go there.
You hear that, Brandon?
What'd he say? Hold on. I had my
Yeah.
headphone out. My
What
ear
was
was
your,
itching. Oh, my pre-race rituals?
Yeah. What is it?
Oh, that's for an adult conversation, Ollie. You're at the hang tight.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, God.
Paul knows too much information. That's why he asked that question.
What, you're rubbing one out in staging or something?
No.
All right, Connie,
It happens long before you get in the pickup truck.
A little stress
Yeah.
relief?
It's
Now
called
it's
driver comfort. That's what it's called, driver comfort. I'm sure Thomas has heard that from Eric once or twice.
My very first race got out of the car in staging 4 times to go to the porta potty.
That
Drink
nervous.
a lot of
I
water.
believe that.
No, I just had to pee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Properly hydrated.
Nice
No,
setup.
I think I was scared shitless. So I ran the first race and got out of the car, and my dad said, "Are your arms tired?" Because I was in there swatting fly.
We're doing
I
something.
do not eat food on race
We're
day,
doing
though. There is
something.
that. I normally do not eat food when I'm racing on race day.
No, I usually don't either.
Before we wrap this up, let's give a shout out to a racer, and we just found out tonight he's a listener, Larry Corning, who raced with my dad, Raz Barlow, up at Santa Maria Speedway.
The mod
Nice.
father.
Thanks for listening, Larry.
That
Okay.
dude's
Get
got
more
a
of your
lot
friends
of
to listen.
information. That guy.
Our claim last episode was fairly well received. If you want to see something more like that in future episodes, let us know what you want to hear us talk about. We had fun talking about that. I think we hit on just about all the high points of that topic between us, and we solved it. We've solved the problem. IMCA just has to listen to us, and we got that problem licked.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't called yet.
Oh, I'm gonna put it out right now. Dodge is going back to Cup, and
And
Tony's
Tony's-
gonna be the
yeah.
man.
Dirt track
Board NHRA is gonna
racing.
come back over and get
Dirty
another-
Sliders is a
He's gonna come
dirt
back and
track
get
racing
another championship.
podcast.
So back to our 2-day race here at Barona. It's my weird finger I broke last year. I thought there were going to be so many dirty sliders in between the modifieds, and it was all clean racing that I saw this
Well,
weekend.
I'll give you my glasses. I seen a couple of questionable driving
probably some
ideas.
questionable ideas, but I didn't see any dirty run into each other.
No, for
maybe
two
one or two.
for 2 nights, it was really damn good racing, actually. So no, hats off
Yeah.
to Barona Speedway there on the IMCA Summer Shootout. But I wanted to circle back to what Raz was saying a minute ago, shifting kind of into just a bunch of buddies hanging out talking about a topic. Like you said, the claim rule kind of hit a chord with some of the listeners. We talk about anything. We talked about who's your tires before. Anything you guys want to hear. We're just a bunch of guys wanting to round table some dirt track racing.
I know what we could do next episode. What is the coolest class in dirt track racing, and why is it sprint cars?
Get out of here. You're
Yes,
fired.
funny.
IMCA modifieds or modifieds in general, USMTS, USRA, IMCA. Modified division is hands down the best
Okay, so
division.
join us next week. I don't know. I forgot what's Raz's feelings on.
They're the best tires in the business.
Hey, while we're on
No.
tires, the Appalachian, I forget the name of it, Appalachian Speed Week or something like that. It happened in the Appalachians, obviously, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, that kind of stuff. They ran strictly American
A
racers.
little farther north, bud.
What goes up to Pennsylvania?
They
It runs
ran,
down
what did
to
they
there.
run, Silver?
They ran American
American.
racers only.
When I noticed that last time the lightning sprints were out at Barona a few weeks ago, there was a lot of them that had American racers on the rears.
USRA, I think that's what USRA runs too, the American Racer.
But yeah, see, that might be
All right.
another topic to bring up again.
We're getting a little far afield. So,
Right.
Ollie, thanks for coming on. We put you on the spot a bunch of times. You're a good sport about it. You are getting a much better at racing. We're all seeing it. Keep it up.
Yep.
The feature win will come, and I'm going to even go so far as to say this season we're going to see a feature win out of Ollie.
And get your grades up next year.
Oh, I definitely think so.
And when they ask you who your sponsors are, don't forget us.
Sliders podcast.
Yeah, it's on you can't miss it.
Hey,
All right, John, rescue us with our socials again. 'cause
rescue us from the socials. Okay, you guys gonna let me do it this week?
Well, can you get them out?
Yeah. At Dirty Sliders on X and Dirty.Sliders on Instagram, patreon.com, Dirty Sliders Podcast. That's where you get all your awesome merchandise that we have if you want it.
Yeah, and Patreon's where you can help us out the
And
most. We can get some Patreon subscribers, and we can improve on some of our audio equipment that we clearly need to work on, and maybe get some lighting and stuff.
We might even help
Okay.
our dirty slider driver out with a light.
Yeah,
You know.
All right, thanks again, Ollie and Paul. Good night, everybody.
See you guys. Thanks for listening.
See